Dr. Mzukwa, are you there?
Yes, I
Hello.
am here.
Okay,
Hello.
good morning. Yes, I'm told to keep it brief because you have patience. I certainly will do
Mm.
that. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you for
thank
your
you.
thank you for your time. We keep it as brief as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media.
لا تقل لوحدي أو كيف السبيل
Humanity sets the agenda.
تصنع المستحيل.
It's exactly 3 after 9 o'clock. Welcome to the second hour of news and views on Salam Media. Next, we'll be talking with Dr. Mzukwa, and he is the chairperson of the South African Medical Association. There is quite a troubling story, and we need to get some clarity from Dr. Mzukwa. We understand that South Africa has run out of insulin pens as the global supply shifts to weight loss drugs. This obviously relates to the pharmaceutical company that produces these insulin pens. Very sadly, this shortage highlights a widening gulf in the standard of care for people with diabetes, sadly, most of whom live in low income countries. Good morning to you, Dr. Mzukwa. Welcome to the program. And what input do you have to my opening statement this morning regarding the shortage of insulin pens in South Africa?
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners, and thanks for inviting me. I think it's a very a tragic scene that we are seeing now, where um, manufacturers are prioritizing profit more than the lives of patients. Because if you look at what happened, it looks like the company that was producing insulin for South Africa has diverted its resources towards Ozempic, which is a product that obviously deals with weight loss, even though itself it is for diabetes. But in this case, we see this affecting more so the low income countries like South Africa and others. So that is where we are in terms of what is happening in the global stage.
We do know that two, three of the biggest pharmaceuticals in the world are involved here. Do you think that someone else will come up, another pharmaceutical who will possibly realize the plight of the poorest of the poor and decide to start manufacturing these insulin pens? And if nobody comes to the fore, what then happens to these people who are so dependent on the insulin pens?
Well, we hope that somebody will come and fill that gap. But in the meantime, what should be happening is that we should be switching over from pens to vials, because we can't allow a situation where people go without these insulins, because you can't manage, in some cases, you can't manage diabetes without insulin, especially type 1 diabetes, but also type 2. Lots of patients now are using insulin. So it is important that we get to that stage. But this will need a lot of work, because people are used to the pen because it's convenient, less painful. It's not time consuming compared to the vial, where you've got to put the needle together with the syringe and draw the insulin and stuff like that. So, and people, most of those people who are living with diabetes are not used to this. Some of them and have never seen the vial. It will be for the first time. So it will need a retraining of patients, so that they get to that stage where they use it properly until the point where we get pens back.
And sadly, as we know, if we're having to retrain people, it also means additional resources that need to be put in place. I just want to ask about Cyril Ramaphosa's visit to the Aspen Pharmacare plant in the year 2021. We also understand that Novo Nordisk signed an agreement last year with Aspen Pharmacare to manufacture human insulin there, aiming to produce 60 million vials by the year 2026. But the vials are different to the pens. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yes, the vials are totally different from the pens. You know, because the pens are pre-filled and they are ready for use. And the
Okay.
vials, you know,
Mhm.
yes,
And it's
yeah,
also,
and
carry on, doctor.
no, I was saying, you know, that's the other thing, you know, that we must keep asking ourselves as low-income countries, especially African. How long are we going to depend to the West for our own survival? You know, when we've got opportunities to start our own pharmaceutical companies, when is this government going to invest, or the government in Africa are going to invest, you know, in their own pharmaceuticals?
Thus, I said that hopefully somebody comes to the fore and opens up a new pharmaceutical company to serve the ordinary working class and the poorest of the poor, not only in South Africa, but the rest of Africa. In your opinion, how dire is the situation? For how long are we good to go with insulin pens before people are going to be forced to use the vials or injectables?
There are already shortages at the moment. It's just that some may still be surviving because they had a lot of stock, but otherwise after the stock is finished, you know, they'll have to use the vials. But most of them some of them have already started on vials because there's no stock. But the thing is, we need to encourage our patients to continue using the vials when they come, because if we don't, it will lead to complications, and it will obviously lead to illness, and some may, you know, have to stay at home because they are ill. It has a dire consequences on the economy of the country.
Absolutely, and a huge burden on the state health resources countrywide. Dr. Vuyisi Mzuko, thank you for sharing that with us. In the meantime, we've just got to, in closing, encourage people who have been using the pen that they need to learn to become fittable with the vials. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, thank you indeed for that very valuable information this morning. Thank you for your time. I do know that patients are waiting to be seen by you. So thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much. God bless you too. Bye.
10 after 9 o'clock. This is News and Views. Just a reminder that this hour of News and Views is sponsored by Africa Muslims Agency. Africa Muslims Agency, a beacon of hope to communities for over 35 years in Africa and beyond.